Hello and welcome to a Blaseball Statistical History, a look at the Chicago Firefighters development across the expansion era. The Firefighters finished the discipline era with one championship under their belt. They have an extended lineup, but the team is patchy in its star power. However, the team finished strong in Season 12, coming third in their division and ninth overall. This puts them into the postseason, but they are knocked out in the wildcard round by the Wild Wings. Their Arcana appears in the first seasonal reading, giving Kennedy Rogers the mod under-over. During the season, the Firefighters see one player spend 3 days elsewhere. Isaac Johnson pulls off 5 positive blood rains, but Declan Suzanne has an allergic peanut reaction. The rotation has a reverb, and there's a feedback trade with the Jazz Hands. Sun 2 only goes in the team's favour, but Black Hole does activate against them. There is also an incineration to cope with, as Jeter Sparrow replaces Joshua Butt. In the election, the Firefighters use wills to infuse new addition Joshua and bring a new player onto their lineup. They also win 3 blessings, seeing their worst pitchers re-rolled, making the team late to the party for the next season, and boosting the pitching of the whole rotation. This makes the rotation much better than the previous season, but the lineup is still very gappy. This does not prevent the Firefighters from doing extremely well, coming first in their division and second in the league. They head into the postseason, making it to the semi-finals before meeting their match in the Tacos. They have an otherwise quiet season, gaining 1 win from Sun 2, and Lou Rosehart spends 13 days elsewhere. In the election, the team choose to infuse Lou and revoke Mags, the player they brought out from the shadows last season. Then, the Millennials want to make a swap, sending Nan over for Peanut Holloway, but the Worms also get involved, deciding that they want Nan and sending back Wanda Shen instead. The lineup is slowly improving, and the player trades haven't had too negative an effect. However, Season 14 is harder for the Firefighters, as they slip to 4th in division and joint 15th overall. Sad at missing out on the chance to be on the team in the election, Nan comes to visit through a feedback swap with Rivers Rosa, but having taken it all in, moves on to the Tigers, sending back Dunlop Figueroa. The rotation also gets a shake-up with Reverb. In the election, the team infuse a player, but also send the Tigers back their player, claiming Gabriel Griffith in the process. The Firefighters enter Season 15 with both lineup and rotation becoming stronger. But this is not reflected in performance, as the team remain in the lower half of the league. Another quiet season, they have 8 parties and 2 players are observed. The election sees a focus on Lou Rosehart in the Wills, as their triple threat mod is re-rolled and they are moved from lineup to rotation. But the Firefighters also win a blessing, moving their best base runner to the leadoff position. Lou is a huge gain for the rotation, but there are little other improvements. A much better performance follows, as the Firefighters move back to the top of their division and end joint 9th in the league. In the postseason, they make it all the way to the finals before just losing out to the Stakes. An extremely quiet season sees Sun 2 and Black Hole activate twice each for their opponents. 2 Wills see the team give themselves 4th strike for the next season and alternate Socks Maybe, who arrives with the Careful mod. This means very little change in the team. And little change in performance, although they do move up 2 places in the league. Another postseason, but this time they don't make it out of the division series, at the hands of the Tacos. They give away a win from Sun 2, but also steal one with Black Hole. The team experience 3 negative and 2 positive blood rains, as well as defending against 3 consumer attacks, whilst one player takes a 28-day vacation elsewhere. The team also attracts Lance Serotonin, who enters the team's shadows after being batted in by Peanut Duffy. In the election, the team make a rotation change and infuse one of their Shadows players. The Moist Talkers want to make a player trade, and they gain Evelton McBlaze II from the Mechanics. Winning 2 more blessings, the team alternate all of their Shadows players, which removes Lance Serotonin's attractor modification, and the active roster gains sunglasses. The rotation has taken some damage over the last season, and the lineup, now even longer, still has a couple of clear weak spots. The Firefighters do not have a good time in Season 18, finishing bottom of the league. However, their Arcana appears in another seasonal reading, making Justice Spoon a negative. There is an allergic peanut reaction, and one player spends over a third of the season elsewhere. The team do pick up attractor Aux Kemming, who is batted in by Jita Sparrow, and they have 13 parties. They also receive 3 gifts from their friends, becoming Life of the Party, Fireproof, and gaining an item. Bottom of the league does mean 3 wills, so the Firefighters can alternate Justice Spoon, who arrives with the Undertaker mod, infuse Aegon Harrison in their Shadows, before then revoking them. They also lose Evelton McBlaze II, who heads to the Magic. Heading into Season 19, the rotation has 2 star pitchers, but is otherwise average. And despite the loss of weak player Evelton McBlaze II, the lineup still needs considerable work. Season 19 is a confusing time, as being bad is good, and the Firefighters finish bottom of their division and joint 18th in the league. They are wild-carded into the postseason, but are knocked out straight away by the lift. They appear in the league-wide seasonal reading, resulting in Wanda Shen becoming an Undertaker. The team does get some boosts in the form of a positive blood rain and 2 parties, but they also face an incineration. Sun 2 and Black Hole Weather works mostly against them, but they get 3 more gifts, increasing soul and making the team Life of the Party and late to the party. The Firefighters use their wills to alternate Socks Maybe, who arrives with negative, and to make a rotation change. However, the Fridays then steal one of their best pitchers. But a hitting boost blessing is a much-needed relief. The rotation now opens strong and tails off rapidly, but the lineup is looking healthier. In Season 20, the team come 4th in their division and remain in the lower half of the league. They do gain 4 wins from Sun 2 and Black Hole Weather, but the entire roster is reverbed. There are 7 trips elsewhere, but also 7 parties. Gifts give the Firefighters more soul, make them early to the party, and give Wanda Shen an item. The Firefighters choose to claim back their pitcher from the Fridays, but they do help out by re-rolling the attractor mod on the player that they return. The reverb means some serious shake-ups, including moving one of the best pitchers to the lineup. However, the team doesn't look in too bad a shape. The Firefighters move up in their division, but lose a place in the league. They gain 1 win from Black Hole Weather, alongside 6 from Sun 30. 2 players become unstable, but thankfully remain safe, and the single consumer attack is defended against. 8 parties give a boost, and Fax Machine gives the rotation a little shuffle. Another 3 gifts make the Firefighters late to the party, fireproof, and give Jita Sparrow the ambitious mod. With their wills, the team magnify Baby Triumphant and move one of their weakest batters to the Shadows. They also win 2 blessings, making all of their Shadows players negative and increasing Gabriel Griffith's soul. The lineup begins to look up, and both Fax Machine and parties have greatly improved the rotation. And in Season 22, the Firefighters have a much stronger showing, moving up to 6th in the league. They qualify for the postseason, but are knocked out in the wildcard round by the lift. They gain 1 win from Black Hole, but forfeit 3 to their opponents. However, 12 additional wins from Sun 30 helps with that. 3 players spend some time elsewhere, but only briefly. There is 1 party and a negative blood rain, but the main event of this season is Fax Machine, which makes 8 changes to the rotation, mainly moving Z-sliders in and out of the shadows. Voicemail also mixes up the lineup a few times. The Firefighters only get 2 gifts this season, becoming fireproof and gaining Chorby's soul. They use their wills to magnify a player and to trade another with the tacos. They also win a blessing, making Gabriel Griffith negative. They lose 2 players, one to the garages and one to the magic, and watch 2 players become a subtractor and skipping, at the hands of the Fridays and Worms respectively. The roster has become shorter again, but doesn't have any clear weaknesses, being pretty consistent throughout. And the team's performance reflects this, as they move up to 2nd in their division and joint 6th overall. They have a little help from the heavens, gaining 12 wins in total. The Thieves Guild steals 2 Shadows players for the Crabs and Georges, but in return gives the team 2 from the lift. There's also a feedback swap with the Dalle, as the Firefighters gain Stout Schmidt, who then becomes a repeat visitor to Elsewhere. Gabriel Griffith becomes unstable, but survives it, and there are 5 parties. But once again, it is Fax Machine doing the most work, this time with Claire McCall being the frequent flyer. The team gets 3 gifts from their friends, being late to the party, seeing Stout Schmidt become ambitious, and gaining a steel chair for Wesley Poole. In the election, they choose the Roamless party favour, and join the rest of the league in becoming under review. They do win 2 blessings, gaining Cape of Containment and Fireproof Jacket. They also benefit from the lift's divisional hitting boost, but lose a Shadows player to the Tacos. The Firefighters field a strong team heading into the final season of the era. A longer rotation that only gets stronger as you move through it, and a consistently good lineup. However, the team struggle in the chaos of the final season, finishing 20th of the 24 ILB teams, and last in their new division of the Desert, even as they gain 2 wins from Sun 30. 2 players are targeted by consumers, but once again the main focus is Fax Machine, as the rotation has another 6 changes made. There is also 1 voicemail and a night shift to further mix things up. In Season 24, the Firefighters use their friends' help to head for the desert, where they become scattered, before joining the Desert Bus for Wrath in charging the coin. They then head back to the desert, where they finish the era. In the expansion era, the Firefighters face 2 incinerations, 4 feedbacks, and 3 reverbs. They also get 44 parties. They have no yummy, but 2 allergic peanut reactions, and Blood Rain is in their favour, with 8 positive to 4 negative. Black Hole activates more in their opponent's favour, with 9 negative to 8 positive, and the same for Sun 2, with 14 negative and 6 positive. They have no shellings and no redactions, but there are 3 instabilities and 2 observations. They experience 1 night shift, 5 voicemails, and 21 fax machines, which is the most of their division. They also lose 2 and gain 2 Shadows players from the Thieves Guild. There are 16 trips elsewhere, with the longest visit being 37 days. They gain 30 wins from Sun 30 and only face 10 consumer attacks. They get 17 gifts from their friends, are awarded 23 wills, and win 12 blessings. Their Arcana Temperance is in 3 seasonal readings. They don't play in a single underbracket, but qualify for 6 postseasons, once as a wildcard. The team finishes the era with a consistent roster. There's only 1 player below 3.5 stars across the entire thing, and despite many change-ups, the Firefighters are in a strong position. Thank you for joining me for another Blaxplanation. I'll be back with more Blaseball fun and facts soon, but until then, rejoice, play ball.